Welcome to our weekly Tycoon Talks. Last week we spoke on our debt-free journey. This week we're providing us 3 major tips on how to get out of debt, because a lot of people DM'd us asking us questions like, hey, look, what are some tips and advice that you have? So here we are bringing it live to you. Let's get started. The first Tycoon tip to getting out of debt is to surround yourself with people that are out of debt. That's number one. You won't go to a mechanic if you want to learn how and study how to be a doctor. You will go to a doctor, okay? So trying to have these type of conversations about debt-free and the journey that it requires with people that just make normal decisions, quote unquote, it will contradict exactly the progress you're trying to make, and is going to make you second guess a lot of that process. And based on how society is already set up, normal equals debt. Debt equals broke. Therefore, normal equals broke. You with me? So you definitely want to get the help and guidance from the tycoons that have been through that journey themselves. Why? They can relate to you and what your thought process is and you trying to get out of debt. They know the advantages of getting out of debt because they're currently living it. Number 3, they're going to be able to let you know what it requires in getting out of debt, right? They're going to literally save you a lot of time and headache because they're going to help you avoid red flags that they had to learn through their own process. All right. So we provide one-on-one coaching with plenty of people that we help them throughout their tycoon journey. And I just love being part of their journey because it's incredible to just help them get to the point where they realize like, hey, look, it's actually doable, it's achievable, it's realistic. And after that, they get all the benefits of it. Tycoon tip number 2 on getting out of debt is when you find yourself in a hole, the most important thing to do is stop digging. The more you dig, the harder it is to get out of that hole. That's when you just go into the black hole, the abyss, that sunken place, and it becomes nearly impossible to literally crawl your way back up to ground zero. Adding debt on top of debt because you're tired, you work hard, you deserve to live a little, life is short, so to speak. Adding debt on top of that as a result of thinking like that is the best way you're going to guarantee yourself that you never ever make it out of the hole, because you're trying to climb your way up to ground zero, let alone build on top of that beautiful skyscraper of freedom that we're all trying to achieve. It's difficult to execute. The reason why it's so important to stop digging when you find yourself in a hole is because of compound interest. Now, it works positive and you benefit from the reward, or it's going to work negative and you're going to suffer. World famous genius Albert Einstein stated that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Those who understand it benefit from it, aka the tycoons. Those who do not pays for it, and it's a hefty price to pay. And we're not talking about money. What compound interest exactly means, well, in this case, as we talk about debt in a negative fashion, is that you borrow the money, the principal is there. The principal is accruing interest. Now, the interest is making more interest. Means the interest that's making interest is also making interest on top of that other interest that's making interest, okay? You do not want to be in that boat because you end up fighting interest and you're not touching the principal money that you actually borrowed. That's why by the time people finish paying off a house, they don't pay 2 to 3 times as much. And same thing goes for a car. Instead of a 10K car, people are spending 15, 20K on a car to begin with. By the time they're done, they basically have a down payment for a house. MasterCard understand it, Visa understand it, the banks understand it, the person you got or the people you got the car loans from, the people you got the mortgage from, they all understand it. All these institutions knows this. You have to put in all the work and sacrifice all your time and efforts, and you have to give them all the money without them lifting a single finger. That's compound interest working against you. To stop digging means you must take a step back, look at your finances, analyze it, and get help if you need help. Get the education tools you need. It's impossible to stop fire by pouring gasoline on top of the fire, okay? So we need to stop adding gas to it and learn to become like water. I don't know why I don't know why I did this, but water. Tycoon tip number 3 on becoming debt-free is to submit and utilize the word no. The only way you can do this successfully is by looking at the bigger picture and actually living backwards. Literally. People think the word submission is like a sign of weakness or something, negative. No, it's actually a big sign of strength. And we're all learning that as we get older and wiser, right? And one of my favorite words also is no. There's a lot of love in the word no. Now, submission and no, when blended together, that's like Tom Brady and Gronk on the same team. You'll guarantee a championship. That's the 2 goals going at it. Come on now. So you got to submit and learn to utilize the word no. That's why long-term strategy and philosophies is as sexy and as exciting as it gets, because you have to start with the end in mind, right? It's like a big puzzle game. So if you really say you're about getting out of debt so you can live the better life, so you can have compound interest work for you as opposed to you working for it, that's the best way to go about it. Submission is so powerful that the second you submit to that tycoon journey, to that process, you take self out of it. You become selfless. It's more about contribution at that point, right? Looking at the bigger picture. That's why long term is the vibe, heavy. So once that happens in your mind and in your behavior, what happens is, you take your ego out of it. You don't care what somebody think about what you have, what you don't have, how you look, how you don't look, what you're wearing, what you're not wearing. None of that matters, because you're working on something deeper and way more important that fulfills you at the highest level of order. Tycoon bars, drop some gems on them. I don't know how to do the edits. I would have put like a little gem thingies or like fire emoji, fire emoji. All seriousness, you do take the self out of it. Your ego goes out the window. Your emotions go out the window, because yes, emotions are important, but there are certain cases where emotions don't work well, right? You need to be efficient. You need to be disciplined about certain things. What feels good is no longer going to serve us. So those things come out of the play, and you just start to evolve into a whole different level in your tycoon journey with that. Once that happens, your why takes over the whole process. And most of us, our whys is, we want that freedom, right? We want to trade time for experiences and things that speak to our soul and make us happy and fulfilled, not just trading our time working for money, paying bills, only to repeat. We want to spend time with quality people, family, help other people. So you let your why take over, and you just let that drive you all the way to your destination. You don't want to focus on motivation, because you're going to be motivated today to do it. Some of us are motivated to go to the gym today. When we get in the gym, you need a different type of motivation to actually lift the weight. You feel me? So you want to focus on drive. When you're driven, you don't stop until you get to your destination. Yeah. However, I will tell you this. If you're doing it because of money, clout, validation from others, and selfish reasons, you will quit. Literally, you will quit, because it requires so much sacrifice that is going to end up being too much, because you're so self-centered and you're just focusing on what you're going to gain as opposed to how you're going to better yourself and better everybody else around you. That's how life is. That's the tycoon journey, because life rewards those that are focused on contributing to the bigger picture and using all the resources and experiences to help better not just themselves, but everybody else around them. So those are the people that get rewarded the most. The ones that don't get rewarded are the ones that are selfish, focused on money and greed and trying to get rich quick and all these other avenues. That is one of the major reasons why we're growing and scaling so fast. Not because we're better than somebody else or we're smarter than somebody else, but it's because we care about our integrity, our character, ethics, and contribution to others' lives and helping them solve their problems. That's why our motto is people first and progress, never perfection. We're showing people how we're doing it. Not only that, the results speak for itself on our platforms every single day. And as people show up with their testimonials as well, it just makes the community better and better and better and better and better. Now we're going to talk about the word no. Saying no simultaneously means you're saying yes to the things that matter to you the most. All right? Because a lot of us are trying to get results, but if you want to attract the results and develop the habits for it, you're gonna have to say no to the things that don't align with that result. So just speaking it into existence doesn't cut it. You have to put your actions behind it, and saying no is one of the best things you can do. There's plenty of love in the word no. Some people don't do well in this area because they're majoring in minor things. When you utilize that word no, it shifts your process and your progress and mentality to the point where now you're majoring in major stuff. When that happens, you go into a whole different shift because you're becoming a different person. So the things that used to excite you, whether it's just drinking out, whether it's just wilding out, smoking hookah, just spending plenty of money, living above your means, all these other things that don't add value to your financial health, those things become like not exciting at all. And you don't feel like you're actually missing out on anything. Now the things that bring you the most excitement and fulfillment is you designing the lifestyle that you want to have. You're not even focused on the money no more. You're focused on bigger picture contribution, and that's why you're gonna do well on your financial journey. So the word no is sacrificing something of a lower nature for something of a higher nature. That's our top 3 tips on getting out of debt. Number 1, get help from the tycoons that have done it. If you need any assistance in that area, you can contact us. We have our link in our bio on all our platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You can visit us on blacktycoontalk.com. We'll be more than happy to help you. You can fill out our contact form. Number 2 is stop digging when you find yourself in a hole, because you make it nearly impossible to get out, and it becomes 10 times as hard because it requires a lot more energy to dig out. Number 3 is submitting to the journey, to the goal, to the process, and letting your why take over and utilizing the word no to help maximize and give it that extra oomph. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be happy to get some feedback. If you have any tips on how to get out of debt, make sure you leave it in the comments below so everybody else can benefit on their tycoon journey. So see you next week. Shit.